awesome. It's still here after all these years. Somebody gave me this rusty old thing about 5 or 6 years ago because they were only going to take it to the dump. I realised that it was a very, very old domestic water heater from the days before every house had electricity. And this one was for a particularly large house. It was described in the sales brochure, which I found, and I'll show you in a moment, sales brochure from 1929. And it shows that these water heaters are suitable for rectories and convents. Here's the top, the lid for it. I've got everything I need except for the broken chimney breast, the part at the back, the flue where the gases come out, the smoke. So let's get this thing out of here and have a look at the feasibility of turning it into a mushroom substrate steam steriliser, with which I can sterilise the growing media, the substrate of my mushrooms, at zero cost, because everybody else seems to use this device called a Bubba's barrel, or they make their own Bubba's barrel. But the problem is with a Bubba's barrel is it has whacking great heating elements in it and uses lots of electricity. So being a big fan of alternative power, I can't use the normal method that everybody else uses. Haha, what a surprise. Right, I've just been looking at this, and rather than repair it and try and join a new piece onto these, there's nothing to attach to really, what I'm going to do is get the cut-off disc and I'll slice this off with a nice square end. I'll do the same at the other end, and then I'll replicate this out of 1/4 inch or 3/16 steel and bolt it with holes drilled into this when the whole thing's finished. And then onto that there'll be an adapter plate which takes a 6-inch flue straight up. I just hope that being 100-year-old cast iron, that it's made out of really good stuff and it drills really easily. Modern cast iron is awful because it's made out of recycled steel with too much carbon in it. It's brittle, whereas old cast iron should be more ductile. Now, one of the things that I wish I'd built a long time ago is a set of rollers. These rollers will allow me to curve steel like this, and also sheet steel like that large piece of aluminium you can see behind me. Using one of those, if I made it reasonably wide, I could roll entire sheets of sheet steel into circles or gentle curves, and it's something I do need to do from time to time. So, lying out the back, I've got what is it? It's a drill rod from the local gold mining company. They use them for exploratory drilling, and they're extremely heavy steel rods with a hole down the centre. So, imagine a 2-inch diameter steel shaft with a 1/2-inch hole down the middle. Very strong and absolutely perfect for making rollers out of. So I've got one of those. I'm going to chop that into 3 pieces eventually and put some gears or sprockets on the end of it so that all 3 turn in unison, and then with that I can roll up bands of steel really easily. But anyway, that's a job for another day. Look what Stu's just made. A nice circle to go around the chimney flue, and now I'm going to make the base. and the top piece, and that's going to be made out of 5mm 3/16, and I'm going to use my plasma cutter. Plasma cutter's an awesome tool. Yes, honestly, if you can press a button and draw a straight line, you can use a plasma cutter. Rightio then, that's the first part of the job done, so now it's time for intermission. Yes, it's ice creams and wee-wees time. And I'm just going to gaze lovingly up at my wind turbine while it works its nut off, providing me with free electricity. I love this thing. And because today's been so windy, there has been a couple of occasions when this thing's actually reached terminal velocity. If it does it again, I'll quickly spin the camera around and show you. Now I'm going to take this opportunity to fire it up and test it, make sure it's got no leaks or anything in it. I filled up the water jacket and I'm just seeing how well it heats up. It's going to take a little while, but I'm going to just see how this thing goes before I take it down to the bottom of the property, because moving this big heavy fireplace down to the bottom is going to be quite a mission. Did you hear that? That's wind turbine terminal velocity. That's what happens when the blade spins so fast that the blade comes around and hits the wave of air that's been left by the previous blade, and that is the fastest a 5-blade wind turbine can go. I'm going to need to put a new hub on this and knock it down to 3 blades so that it can go even faster and produce more electricity. I don't know whether I'm going to film the next bit. Put yes down below if you want to see me take this thing on the trolley down this flight of stairs. It was hard enough just getting it from over there to here. Actually getting it on the trolley was the hardest part. But yeah, I've got to get that down here, and I've got no planks, and quite frankly putting it on planks would be dangerous because it would just go. Yeah, so vote yes down below if you'd like to see me do this, or no if you think I'm mad and I should wait till somebody gets here to help me. Well, the votes are in, folks. It looks like I'm doing it. So grab a seat and your popcorn, and we'll see how long this takes. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to move a few bricks, otherwise it'll be instant disaster. Put a strap round it, because if I don't, I know I'll break something. Sorry about that. Not everything falls immediately to hand when you're doing things on the fly. Right, no mucking about. Yes. Ooh, that's a big drop. That was easy. Right. Ooh. Now I've got to get it down the side of the greenhouse. It's a little bit off camber, but it shouldn't be too hard. So I'll get back to you when I've got it sitting in place down at the bottom. Here comes all the comments about how dangerous and foolhardy I am. But I want you to know that this isn't actually me. This is the clone of me that I built in a previous video. This is the robot that I use to do any hazardous operations. You don't think that I would really go down the side of all this sheet glass with a big heavy thing, do you? No, I'm tucked away in my concrete bunker down the end of the street with the neighbours. I gather them all up and we sit in complete safety and watch this on the monitors while my clone carries on and does all of the dangerous work. You're here. Great. Come and have a look at this. Show you what I've been doing. So, it has taken 10 days for me to get these two pieces of pipe made and threaded at the right length so that I can make this assembly. But anyway, now we're here. I'm filling up, and I have to fill up the system until it gets to here. Still hasn't even filled the bottom half of the water jacket. The water jacket on this thing is huge. It's nothing like a modern water heater. It's quite a different system. When I've got it filled up, I'll get back to you as I light the fire and we'll see how long it takes until we get steam coming out of here. Now, Steve from Little Aussie Rockets. Steve, if you're watching this, tell me if you think this is a rocket stove. I think it is. It's got a tapered, heavily insulated chimney. The feed for the fuel is horizontal and the air comes in underneath. So I reckon it's a rocket stove. And I want you to listen to it as soon as I put these rings back in and listen to the change in sound. You can hear it. It's very rockety. And even now, after just firing the thing up, it's starting to warm up. It's very heavy. The walls of this thing are 4 inches thick. The pulp is heavy cast iron. I'm not doing a very good job of showing you the temperature of the hottest parts, sorry, but you can see that the chimney, which I've just come off, was 250 degrees Celsius. And the box itself is warming up. The water coming out is at 44, 45 degrees, and the water coming in is, there you go, it's only about half that, 25 to 27 degrees. So it's just starting to work. Good Lord, I can see steam. I'm only 8 minutes in and I can see steam. I don't know whether you can see it, but I can see steam. And I can feel it on my face. Definitely warmer than ambient air. And that was less than 10 minutes. That was about 8 minutes. It was just enough time for me to fill the firebox, chop a little bit of wood, fill the firebox, and it's already at a light steam. Let's see if we can get a water surface temperature. So 38 degrees, 43 degrees Celsius by the inlet, and over the far side 35 degrees, 36 degrees. Certainly pleasant enough to jump into. I'll stoke some more wood on the fire, check it in another 5 minutes. So what is this thing and why am I doing it? Well, it's a mushroom substrate steriliser. It's got a 200 litre capacity and it's going to let me do up to 60 grow bags of mushrooms at a time. Up until now I've been relying on pasteurisation for keeping the greeblies, bugs and contamination out of my mushroom grow bags, and it's not quite doing the job. Everybody else who grows mushrooms and does it well fully 100% sterilises their substrate, so I'm going to have to move into that. But the thing is, I'm on solar. I really can't afford to have 4 to 6 hours of boiling water produced by my solar power. I don't think even in the summer I could achieve it, much less in the winter. So having this thing lying around has meant that I can cobble myself up a wood-fired steam steriliser. Hope it's going to get hot enough. I've got loads of firewood here, and hey, even if I get short of firewood, because I'm pretty handy engineering wise, I think I can make either a pellet hopper or a sawdust hopper, and I can have this thing running on free fuel, whatever that fuel is. I'll find a way, trust me. So I'm now 30 minutes in and it's steaming. Check this out, 35 minutes and it's boiling. And no, it can't blow up because it's not pressurized, okay? Any excess pressure just bleeds out the top here. If I choose to, I can put the band on when I've got a pressure relief valve. I won't be doing that until I've done some more testing. But it's rocking. It's belting hot out here. Thank goodness I put this outside and didn't build it inside. So now I can sterilise my own substrate instead of just pasteurising it. Pasteurising just doesn't kill enough of the greeblies and bugs that are living in there, and they provide too much competition for the mushrooms. But with this, I'm hoping it to be a game changer. So it's time to have a tidy up out here, get rid of all this rubbish and turn this into a processing facility. That thing on the top, by the way, that gets turned over and goes inside so that the bags of mushroom substrate aren't sitting in the water, they're sitting in the steam. The water level is below the explosive wood. Well, we've made it. We're at the end of another video again, and it's come to that time where I'd like you to smash that like button, just like all the other video creators ask, because hey, it does help the algorithms. And another thing you could do, if you're interested in finding things, saving things, fixing things and reviving things, is subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss a single upload.